those moments that are challenging, how can we use those moments to build our family on top of? When I think back about my dad being an alcoholic, it's like, that's deep. That's in our core of our family, and everyone knows about it, and it's affected everyone in a certain way, including my dad. And him getting to this point of asking for forgiveness for that has been a challenge that has brought my family much closer together. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Embodied Relationship Podcast, here with your host, Braedy Mac, yours truly. I today was considering, what is it that I really want to talk about? What is it that really, really matters? And when you think of the word family, I want you to consider what comes up for you. Because for some people, it might be anger, it might be hurt, it might be frustration. Some people, it's that warm, fuzzy feeling. Some people, it's a little mixture of both. And that word family can either be like the most loving experience, or it can be like really triggering. And the beautiful thing about being in partnership with someone else is you get to create family. And doesn't mean that there aren't hard times or difficult times. There's always going to be that. But rather, you get to decide as a family how you face those difficult times. And if you grew up in a family that was dysfunctional of sorts, like for myself, I grew up with an alcoholic dad, with an anxious and depressed mom, with a mentally ill and addicted sister, and my relationship to them was, with my mom, mostly frustration and confusion. With my dad, a lot of anger, frustration, and we fought. And with my sister, I mostly ignored her. And we've been in therapy for the past 2 years, and we have got to redefine family within my family, with my parents and my sister. And what once was a very disconnected, triggering experience to be around is now like the warmest experience. My dad and I are like, we're best buds. My mom and I are so close. I just sent her on a yoga retreat, and she just had the most life-changing experience. My sister is in recovery, and she's doing so much with her life in ways that I never thought was possible. Having dad look at sobriety is just really life-changing experiences with the family. All of that started with the decision to commit to family, the decision to redefine family, and the decision to have difficult conversations. I once heard a quote saying, I think it was in reference to business, but I think it's applicable to relationships and probably everything in life, is the success of the relationship or the business is directly related to the amount of difficult conversations that one is willing to have. And going from family in disarray, dysfunction, disconnection, addiction, to a family that is there for each other, supports each other, we're connected, we're continually excited about each other's lives and curious about each other's lives, we're proud of each other is, it's really day and night. It's black and white. It's a huge bucket list experience. A lot of the things that I've experienced growth with in my family were things that I thought could never happen, not in this lifetime. Or I thought, that's what I would like to achieve by the end of my life. If I can, get my dad to quit drinking. It's like, I just didn't think that was ever possible, but it is, based upon the really difficult conversations that were had. And yeah, those were some of the most difficult conversations that I've ever had, talking to my dad and asking him to, begging him to stop drinking, and writing him a letter and giving it to him with my heart in it. These were really, really tough conversations, and it was all worth it, because as a result, we're able to grow together now. We're able to live in sobriety and consciousness and feel deeper into our bodies and our experience. My parents have since retired and moved out to their dream home on Vancouver Island. It's really been a big shift and change. And all of that is under the umbrella of having these difficult conversations and having the right container for these conversations. So, like I said, we've been in therapy for 2 years together as a family, and it's been so enlightening. One of the things that we're currently working on is redefining what our family values are, which, we didn't really have family meetings ever growing up. It was kind of just, we were in the flow of playing sports or going to school or work, or we might, have a meal together and check in with each other's days every once in a while, but even that was pretty seldom. And so the process of just having family meetings really gives this sense of what family is really like, or really could be like. And so that's something that I've adopted with my family there. We're going through, what our family values are. We really care about having fun together. We really care about supporting each other. We really care about staying connected with each other. And we're having conversations in these meetings to discuss how can we implement that in our life. And so we do that on a weekly basis. So that's kind of looking into the past, and that's a little bit deeper of a process and experience, and oftentimes takes a longer time because we have established relationships with our family for 20, 30, 40 years sometimes. And those are older, deeper ingrained patterns that take much more to repattern, to undo, to rewire. However, you in your partnership now, with a new partner or with a long-term partner, it can be really beautiful to, one, shake things up a little bit. I talked about this in my last podcast episode about a pattern interrupt and the power of that. So a pattern interrupt can be something to shake things up. If you've been in a cycle, in habit, in routine, and things need to be spiced up or shaken up, there's an opportunity to do that by introducing family meetings or family values or conversations or containers where conversations can happen of this nature. And so the idea is that you can start to introduce that to your current life partner now in a way that it's more than just, eating together and having a conversation. It's really a container for, where is our family going? What is the next step for our family? How can we support each other deeper? How is it that we can support each other's dreams? How is it that we can create more intimacy in our life? What is it that would be really fun for us to do together? And so these conversations start to just spark a deeper connection. And ultimately, it can get you to the point of, and maybe you can find something familiar to this, those moments that are warm, fuzzy, and happy, feel-good moments. And if you can't think of one off the top of your head, think a little further back. Maybe think to your childhood, just a time that things were just really, really good. For me, I often think about a Christmas morning, and in Canada, there's always snow on Christmas morning, so we'd always go tobogganing, and we'd get the sleigh out and we'd go down the hill, and it was just a moment where everyone was stress-free, we were happy together, we'd ride the toboggan down, sometimes with my mom, sometimes with my dad, and the other one would wait at the bottom, and it just felt like those moments of just a kid happy with his family. And so if you have one of those moments, consider that energetic quality, that frequency, that feeling of a happy family moment. And those moments are introducible. I don't think introducible is a word, but you can introduce them to your current life. And you can start to sprinkle them in weekly, daily, multiple times per day. And that makes life so much more enjoyable with your partner, right? But it might take some process to get clear on understanding what is it that actually evokes those moments. What is it that evokes those moments? And can you and your partner be on the same page with that? Can you both introduce more of those special, happy family moments? And of course, the goal isn't always to be happy, right? Because let's just face it, life happens, challenge happens, and conflict happens, and misunderstandings happen. In those moments when that happens, it's really important to have your values really clear so that you know how to face those moments. Meaning, those moments that are challenging, how can we use those moments to build our family on top of? When I think back about my dad being an alcoholic, it's like, that's deep. That's in our core of our family, and everyone knows about it, and it's affected everyone in a certain way, including my dad. And him getting to this point of asking for forgiveness for that has been a challenge that has brought my family much closer together, right? It's something that we built our values on top of. And now we make sure that no one feels isolated like he did, which caused the drinking in the first place. We make sure that we're always connected, that we can share each other's problems and joys, and we're friends with each other. That makes a massive, massive difference. So knowing that to get to those happy family moments, we need challenge, actually. Otherwise, happy moments would kind of get boring, right? We need the challenge to teach us the lessons that we need to learn, right? All challenge is just a way of showing us where we're not yet free. And so if we can notice those challenges and learn from them, and not learn from them individually, but learn from them together, we have an opportunity to create more of those special moments. If this is a conversation that you're not sure how to make happen on your own, it's worthwhile bringing in some extra support. I talk about this all the time. It's not worth trying to do something on your own and getting 20% of the way there when you can bring someone in who's an expert in something. I love experts. And I'm loving experts more and more, especially as I run my business and I've just hired so many people. I realize, it doesn't make sense for me to hire some $10 an hour virtual assistant, although that sounds really ideal. Actually, it makes more sense for me to hire the $20, $30, $40, $50 an hour people who will be amazing at getting the job done, rather than the $10 an hour person who I've got to over-explain things and the job is not quite done the way I want it to, and then I end up spending more time on it, they end up spending more time on it. It's just not worth it. Like, bring the expert in the first place. There's no cutting corners, especially in relationship and in business. There's no fast way there. It's consistency. And it's about bringing in the people who have the best tools to support you for what it is that you want to create in your family, in your relationship. And by the way, this is a thing that surprised me when Lo and I came together. The word family was so apparent. It was so used. And I've found with many other partners or in other couples who are long-term partners, or maybe even married, but don't yet have kids, that the word family is seldom used. It's like they almost forget that they're family, or there's almost like a resistance to the word family, especially if there's been a trigger in their life around their own family growing up. But try using that word more. Try using the word family, and knowing that while using the word family, you get to redefine what family means, especially if you're in relationship with your loved one. You two get to decide, but you have to go through the process of deciding. So, like I said, bring an expert in. It could be me. I've got a wonderful 6-week program for that called Embodied Relationship Counsel. And we go into the neuroscience, we go into the heart, we go into what actually creates intimacy. What values do you actually hold? What values do you want to use to create your dream life moving forward together? Of course, there's plenty of amazing coaches out there, lots of facilitators or therapists, and this is not the only program. But bring in an expert, bring in some extra help, because it makes everything so much more worthwhile, especially when we're talking about relationships. You're likely going to be in that relationship for the rest of your life. It's worth investing in, and the sooner the better. So consider a few different things here. To recap, consider what family really means to you. Consider how you're redefining family. Consider having difficult conversations. And consider bringing in some help and support for those difficult conversations. Thank you so much for being here. I am signing off, short and sweet today. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to leave a comment below in the YouTube comments, or a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It is much, much appreciated. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope to see you in the next episode. Hello, you beautiful souls. Thank you for listening to the Embodied Relationship Podcast with Brady Mack. I want to introduce to you a program for those of you who are in relationship, who are potentially married, or just in a longer term relationship and might be feeling stuck or uncertain, or simply craving more intimacy in your long-term relationship. The program that I would love to introduce to you is my signature program, which is the Embodied Relationship Counsel. And this is a journey where you get to embark on opening the heart and exploring the power of mindfulness, emotional healing, as well as the science of lasting connection. And it's not just about the spark, it's about creating conscious love that evolves over time and actually thrives with more time together. And so This is a space for a conversation for you and your partner to come together and to experience what it's like to grow together in love and understand the warm, loving embrace of each other's souls. Through the joys, through the challenges, we learn how to overcome all of this through conscious love. So if you're craving a love that really feels like home, a connection that nourishes your heart, I implore you to check out Embodied Relationship Counsel. And let's deep dive into your soul's growth, your soul's liberation, and the magic of conscious love together. If you're interested in joining the Embodied Relationship Counsel, click the link in the show notes, and I look forward to seeing your application come in. Peace and love, everybody.